What do you think you're doing?
Itching.
Well, where do you want to go?
Where are you going?
York.
That'll do.
All right, you can't stay there. You'll freeze. Get in. How long had you been standing there?
Dunno, a long time. You have to wait for couples. This time of day, you don't get many.
Couples?
Man and woman together in a car.
Well, what's wrong with triples?
No room won't stop. Families won't stop. Dogs, they never stop. Anyway, I'm allergic.
Lorries?
Never stop. Men on their own, they won't stop. Stands to reason, not for a lad.
Well, why not? No, wait, don't tell me. I think I know. Anyway, I stopped.
You're the exception, ain't you?
Yes, as it happens, I am.
They make my chest tight, dogs. Can't breathe, asthma. They have to take me to hospital. They don't like that. It's hours on the journey.
Oh, Mr. Bailey.
Ah, Mrs. Wilde. Good afternoon. I'm not disturbing you, I trust.
Your trust is misplaced, you are.
Then I shall come immediately to the point.
Mr. Bailey, have I asked you in?
I was wondering if you'd be good enough to do me a small favor.
Oh, no.
A mere temporary...
No, sorry, no.
You misunderstand me.
Then?
A small service. You'd be paid for it handsomely.
You haven't come to ask me to strip in one of your films, have you? Well, perhaps you have. Men have lusted after this body, and we could actually use the money. Now, what are your rates?
Please.
No. Pity.
Mrs. Wilde, I value you as a neighbor. I respect you. How could we possibly pass on the stairs if I'd seen you naked? I could never ask you to demean yourself in any way.
Then what are you asking?
I have a project. A small film of an educational nature. For private distribution only.
Educational?
Biology.
Sex?
Well, we don't put it like that. A young lad, a teenage boy discovers, is assisted to realize, oh, it'll be very tastefully done. Very. After all, the facts of life are taught in school. Of course, we couldn't use local talent. The boy would have to come from London. There is an agency, but they insist on a chaperone.
What? You mean you're actually asking us to... What, to look after this?
Parental care, you might say. A family atmosphere. I mean, clearly, we couldn't ask the boy to stay in a hotel, young lad on his own.
Clearly.
You'd be paid for it. I'd never ask people to put themselves out on my account and not be paid for it.
Mr. Bailey, how old is this boy?
Well, old enough, but needs a mother's care.
I'm not a mother.
You would be to him.
What can you think of us?
That's good neighbors, Mrs. Wilde. Most important in this modern world.
Yeah, well, you're mistaken.
Oh, you're sophisticated people.
Oh, we are. We are sophisticated, tolerant, urban middle class. Your average audience for BBC Two, and we do believe that a certain amount of discreet pornography may keep the wheels oiled, for those wheels that don't get much oil any other way. But further than that, Mr. Bailey, we do not go. When it comes to your using kids, to your actually using boys in these bits of film that you concoct downstairs, not only do I refuse to assist you in any way whatsoever, but if I get the faintest notion that you're actually going ahead with such a project, I shall blow the whistle so fast and so loud that you'll still hear the echoes of it after the police come bursting in.
That's not neighborly.
It's a very neighborly warning. So you treasure it. And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to get back to work.
But I'll see myself out.
Yes, please do. It's the white door with a mortise lock.
Oh, really?
I suppose I could use that. Anne said we are tolerant. No, wait a minute. Where was that? The The Barretto was still hidden under the carelessly discarded wisp of chiffon. Anne slid her hand towards it. We are your average audience for BBC2, she said. Tolerant. Sophisticated.
Where do you want me to drop you?
Where are you going?
Home, to my wife and dogs.
Anywhere you like, then.
Look, do you actually have a destination? You're not from York. You don't live here.
No.
Where do you live? All right. Put it another way. Where'd you come from today?
Aylesbury.
You don't have any luggage. Do you have friends in York? Relations? Right, put it another way. Why did you come to York? Was it simply because I said I was... It was actually the city, then, whither you intended to hitch.
You talk funny.
Sometimes when I'm beginning to be vexed.
Come to find me, Mum.
Wouldn't she be more likely to be at home? Wherever home is?
Left, didn't she?
When?
Not long.
Left your father, run away?
He's inside, isn't he? In the nick. There's only me and Sheil.
Sheil?
The lady next door took her in. There was this man come, see? Mum didn't want to go. She was crying. Left all her things. She gave me a kiss. You be a good boy till I'm back, she said. She never come back. Lady next door took Sheil and I come after her.
But how do you know she's in York? Look, you'd better come home with me. We don't really have any dogs.
It's the same with cats.
Or cats. And my wife, you'll be glad to know, hardly molts at all.
So how do you know she came to York?
Postcard.
What, she sent you? Rupert.
Well, if you made some chips, we could all have had some. You got the postcard with you, Steve? Oh, I'd have brought it if I'd been you.
Why?
Well, he might have told us something. If we're going to try to help him, any evidence will be of
You
use.
could hardly be expected to know he was going to be picked off the roadside by a self-professed criminologist. What was the picture on the postcard, Steve?
Big, one of them big...
What? Castle? Church? Minster?
That's it.
Well, it actually said York. York Minster. Where?
What do you mean, where?
Where did it say York Minster?
The back, where it always
I
says.
just wondered if Steve had enough experience of postcards to know that. Can you actually read, Steve? I mean, difficult words like Minster.
Well, easier words like York might have presented fewer difficulties.
Just stop getting at me, will you? I'm only trying to
Well,
help.
we're both trying to help. So who read the postcard to you, Steve?
Lady next door.
And the postmark said York. Oh, nobody looked. Pity.
Can't expect him to, a boy of his age. He's
I
not a
would've.
Hercule Poirot.
Even at his age, would have been the first thing
that's
I'd...
different, isn't it? I mean, you collected stamps. You were one of those ghastly middle class...
I was not.
You had hobbies.
I did not. It was my father's collection. I couldn't stand stamps.
You couldn't stand your father. That was half the problem.
But stop it. We're quarrelling.
Yes, we are. I wonder why. I'm sorry, I have been getting at you. It was just that I thought... I think it's the effects of your Mr. Bailey downstairs.
He's not mine. I won't own him. What about him?
I'll tell you later. Something he wanted us to do, and I got very cross, and I found that I still am. What Rupert meant was, Steve, that where your mother posted the postcard might be more important than where she actually bought it. We're whistling in the wind, aren't we?
Right.
We've no idea how to start finding his mother because there's no real evidence.
Right.
We know what we ought to do.
Right. Social services should be looking after Steve, and the police should be finding his mother. What do you think?
You gonna tell Bill?
You don't care for old Bill? Well, look, the lady next door can't look after your sister Sheila forever, you know. I mean, if your dad's in the nick and your mum's gone missing, she's gonna have to tell the welfare. Well, the two of you must be looked after. They'll have to find you somewhere to live.
What, put them in a home?
Into care.
Funny words we use. When is a home not a home? When it's a home. And when it's care, not very caring.
I could find her.
How?
I'd walk around looking. I know what she looks like.
We'll give it a few days, I suppose. All right, you can stay here for a bit, Stephen. We'll look for your mother together. Oh, and if we can't find her, we'll have to tell the welfare, okay? Now, you say this man took her away. She was crying, and she said you'd be back. Had you ever seen this man before? And you think she didn't want to go? Had he beaten her up in any way that you could see? Was she marked? Black eye, cut lip? So he persuaded her. It wasn't physical force. And your dad's in the nick. There might be something in that. Some piece of undiscovered loot. Do you know what he's in for?
Possession.
Of what?
Can't mean drugs.
Could. Heroin? Cocaine? Hash?
You don't get a prison sentence, not for possession of hash.
No, he might have been dealing. If he got some for his mates. I mean, if they clubbed together, but he'd actually bought the stuff and then been caught with it, that's technically dealing.
Sounds hard.
Sounds odd. One doesn't usually associate hash with the working classes. I'm not being snobbish. I'm not. Teenagers, yes, of any class. Speed, hash, uppers, downers, glue, lettuce leaves, the lot. Steve can't be less than 12 years old.
13.
That makes his father at least 30, and 30-year-old working class
What was
fathers
your father's
of
job,
families.
Steve? Before the nick?
He was a teacher, wasn't he?
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Mum was a teacher and all, but she gave it up.
Well, I think I will make some chips. You don't mind frozen? He's fast asleep. He's rather lost in your pajamas. I hope he doesn't suffocate. Are you drinking scotch?
I thought I would. If we finish this bottle now, we can get another before the price goes up in the budget. It's a saving, really.
Oh, well, I'll have some then.
Can we believe his parents really are teachers? I mean, he seems barely literate, and neither his vocabulary nor his table manners suggest...
Rupert.
Not a criticism, lover. It's an objective statement of fact. I mean, if we're going to help him, we have to begin by sussing out how far he's telling the truth.
Well, you get some funny teachers nowadays.
Ah, you do.
And if they'd been into soft drugs, then maybe they neglected him. I mean, that whole drug scene would account for Steve being scared of the police.
You know, people who refer to the police as Old Bill aren't usually into soft drugs. They're more usually into larceny.
Well, maybe if he'd been neglected, he got into bad company.
Do you believe him, then?
I don't know.
Right, let's work out what we do know. First. No, we'll make a list. Now, first. Did I write this?
What?
About our heroine being the average audience
Yes,
for
of course you
BBC
did.
Two. Was that in my notes?
Yes, well, as far as anyone can ever read your notes. I mean, if you ever took the time to learn an italic script or an illegible form of shorthand.
That's very good. Oh, really, it really is very good. I surprise myself
Yeah,
sometimes.
well, come on. First.
Oh, yeah, first. Right, first. Well, first, I suppose, is the man who took his mother away. He's hardly likely to have fantasies about that. And whether she's a teacher, or whatever she is, this man came for her, and she went off with him. Not altogether willingly, but she went. And then some days later, she sent Steve a postcard from, or at least of, York. Now, what have we got? Drugs, an unprotected working-class woman, a man who comes and takes her away.
You think she's a prostitute? You know, not a teacher at all, but on the game?
Quick, very quick.
Why York?
Too much competition in London?
Oh, I'd have thought that Leeds was a better
Oh, and in
bet.
Leeds. Very competitive in Leeds. But here in York, plenty of money about, middle-class respectability, religion and guilt. Dozens of chocolate factory executives in the grip of the male
come
menopause. Fertile ground. Our friendly local pornographer downstairs doesn't do too badly. Oh, yeah, you had something to tell me about
Oh,
him.
I'll tell you that later. You see, I just don't think she'd go. I mean, her husband...
He's in the nick. She's trying to look after 2 kids on Social Security. She loves them, but she's not a good manager. Along comes Chummy. She's worked for him before she was married. He offers her a limited engagement, nice place to live, nice class of customer, guaranteed income. She doesn't want to go. She cries. She tells Steve she'll be back.
Yes, it's possible. And drugs are possible.
Yeah.
I still don't see why he shouldn't be telling the truth. Now, suppose she were a teacher. Suppose they both were. And they trained up here as students and then got into soft drugs and then just kept in touch with their friends.
Steve's 13. He's a cockney.
Well, the source of supply could be up here. I mean, if his father's been arrested for dealing, I mean, everyone's at risk.
Steve said possession.
Yes, now that's the third possibility.
Explain.
Well, now we know, don't we, that he wouldn't get a prison sentence for possession of soft drugs, so we've assumed that he's dealing. Now, Steve didn't mention drugs. You did. And he just nodded his head. But supposing Steve just picked up the word possession but didn't really understand it.
Yeah, but possession of what? I mean, you can't mean stolen goods. They call that receiving.
Do you know what his surname is?
Never asked him.
Yes, I did at bedtime.
Well?
It's Nolan.
Ah.
So, possession of arms, explosives. I mean, the man that came for his mother, she was crying, but she knew him.
Well, there's three possibilities to start with. Drugs, prostitution, and the IRA. So if it's not all three at once. What are we going to eat? Do you want to go out? We could. Nothing expensive. We'll go Chinese.
Rupert, we can't go out.
Why not? I mean, the overdraft might flinch a bit of cuisine, monsieur, but it can stand Chinese. I fancy Fu Young.
Yeah, well, there's red cabbage in the freezer. We can't go out because we haven't got a sitter.
I don't like red cabbage.
When? I see. All right. Your boy is gone.
Steve?
Took off yesterday.
Damn.
Early morning. He's had a whole day on the road.
Do they know where?
We didn't say where he was going, but I think we may guess, may we not, at his eventual destination.
Yes.
Anyway, he's your problem.
Oh, yes, he's my problem.
He's on her way. No, I couldn't go with them. The boy won't give you any trouble. None, from the minute he sets eyes on her. Why else do you think she'd be going? Of course she didn't want to go. Do you think she's nothing to do here? She had to go. Now listen. If that kid goes wandering around the streets on his own, old Bill will have him. That means trouble for us all.
Right. There we are. Well, he's a bit underbreasted for it, but I suppose it'll have to do. Well, anything of yours, it'd fit him like a tent.
Underwear?
First stop, Marks and Sparks. And then we'll try the bus station and the railway station. A few cheap cafes. Oh, the park. You know, we'll just wander around looking at the drifters, not expecting too much. I mean, anyone who took his mother away would have somewhere for her to live.
It would help if you could show people a photograph. You don't have one concealed about your person, do you? All right, off you go. I'll try my luck with Mr. Bailey.
Can I go down the iron staircase?
Oh, it means the fire escape is absolutely fascinated by it. Apparently they don't have them in Wapping. Go on then, I'll meet you at the front door. Hey, be careful round the bends. Isn't it funny, the things that fascinate kids? You want to know what it was and whether each flat could use it. It's really very bright. And we'll be back at lunchtime. Oh, good luck with our pornographic friend.
Drugs.
Yes.
Help myself, shall I? Amazing. The difference. You won't join me?
I find that I hardly ever drink brandy at 10:45 in the morning.
Then you should, Mr. Wilde. Indulgence of the flesh, decent privacy, civilized surroundings, congenial company. It's the only hobby. Drugs, you said? Oh, dear.
Yeah, where people go, pubs, cafes.
You require a pusher. Oh, dear. Dearie me. And women.
Prostitutes.
Models. It is the kinder word.
Yeah, well, I thought with your contacts you'd be bound to know.
Drugs and women. How very interesting. I'd no idea your inclinations lay in that direction.
They don't. It's research for a book.
A book? Oh, yes, of course, a book. What a curiously convenient profession authorship is. Anyone else would have had to have begun his inquiries with, you see, it's for this friend of mine. And I shouldn't have believed him.
One doesn't say inclinations lay, as a matter of fact. Inclinations are already leaning. They don't lie.
I'm the happiest of men, Mr. Wilde. I learn something new every day.
The things I do for England. Hey, you kitted him up, haven't you?
What?
Well, you went out to buy some underwear. You bought up a gents' outfitters.
Go and hang your coat up, Steve, and take the carrier bags with you. Which of us is extravagant? Known to be.
Well, I am.
Right, remember that.
Yeah, but I haven't just bought up a gents' outfitters.
Exactly. If I buy something, it is not an extravagance. It never has been, and it never will be. It's a necessary expense.
There's a logical hole in that somewhere. Oh, I got some addresses, by the way.
Bureau on, team.
Excuse me.
We don't do callers at the door. A bureau on, team. This is the manageress speaking. You see, I'm occupied.
I'll wait.
Yes, we do. Well, all reasonable requirements catered for. If you'll state your specification, I'll try and arrange a booking. Yes. Yes. We work to a standard, sir, not a price. Do you? Well, that does come extra. Look, will you oblige me, please, by getting lost? I'll muddle my bookings with you stood standing there. It's a distraction.
I'll sit down then, shall I?
I'll see if Miss Bernadine's free. Oh, you couldn't hope for a greater satisfaction. She was trained as a district nurse. I'm afraid we don't tell our ladies' ages. Well, slim, to be frank. On the slim side. You could say boyish. Look, it'll do you no good you coming here. You can see for yourself this is an office, not a maison. Well, would you prefer a fuller figure? The Rubens type? Oh, full, sir. Merely full, not motherly. Thank you, sir. Miss Frieda at 9. Now, will it be cash or a credit card? Well, which one? We take them all. Room 352, 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for your inquiry. Oh, you heard me. There are no goings-on in this room.
I got your address from Mr. Bailey.
Oh, film work, is it?
No, not exactly. I'm looking for a woman.
Then why couldn't you use the telephone like any other client? There's a pay box on the corner.
No, you don't
Just
understand.
a minute. Mrs. Weatherby? A bureau home team? Excelsior Motorama, room 352, 9 o'clock. Write it down, love. You know what you are. What's the weather forecast?
Squally showers, I think, with some possibility of sleet.
And wrap up warm, love, and take your wellies. A credit card, love. You'll need the bonga.
The woman I'm looking for is a Londoner, She's in her 30s and left home about a fortnight ago to come up here. We think she may be on the game.
Well, I don't know who we may be, but I know the CID boys like the back of my hand, and you're not one of them.
No, it's a private investigation.
Well, that's as may be.
We think she may be protected.
I've had no professional girl come on my patch with or without protection for more than a year. We had the last one out within the week.
Unsuitable?
That's right. We're a community service. Outsiders, they've not got the discretion and they've not got the stamina for the job we do here.
That's it. It was a bag like that she was carrying. 2 bags. She'd kitted him out.
Avec les anges si purs, la mer, bergère d'azur.
Drink?
I don't drink alcohol.
Cigarette?
I don't smoke tobacco.
Coffee, if you could get it, contains too much caffeine.
Overstimulates the heart. Tea also. I never touch either.
Well, I'm sorry, but I haven't brought any brown rice with me.
I'll have a glass of water.
Oh, can you be sure it's not fluorinated? Get a glass of water and white wine, please. Thank you. There. Cheers.
You want to buy them?
No, I want some information.
Get lost.
I'm looking for a woman.
Well, you won't find one in here.
She's in her 30s. She comes from London, but she may have been at college here, in a teacher training college or the university. Her husband's been nicked for possession. He may have been dealing. And we think she may have come to York in the last fortnight.
Why?
We don't know why.
Who's we?
My wife and I.
You want to lay off that stuff? It's poison.
Look, we're trying to find her for a friend. If she came up here, if her husband had been getting his supplies here, if she had to warn somebody, if she had to collect some consignment.
Mister, this is not Hong Kong. It is not New York or Marseille. It's not even Liverpool. A few friendly people, uncorrupted by commercialism or the media, may meet in private to share a joint or a box of homemade fudge. Now, I may assist them to that communion. In order to do so, I travel. Nobody comes to York for the mind-liberating weed. One goes from York to get it.
Acid? Speed?
Why travel from London to York with Welwyn Garden City only a bus ride away?
All right. Thank you.
See you around.
I doubt it. See you around. It's been a rather thwarting afternoon.
Well, go make yourself some toast. There is some tea left. It's a bit stewed, but should be drinkable.
What are you playing?
Fox and Geese.
Might join you?
It's a game for 2 players.
There's nothing left.
Hot water?
Hot water. I haven't found his mother.
Help you?
I hope so. I think you had a lady and a small boy in here this morning buying clothes.
It doesn't mean that. Can I help you? It means...
Helping people, that's what life's all about, son. Name and address, that's all we need. Send the till, you've only got to look. You wouldn't be able to live with yourself if 2 friendly people like us came in asking for help, and you refused it.
Good night, Steve. Sleep well. See you in the morning. Men staying in the house, Irish, people who came and went. Did she look after anything for anybody? Suitcases, heavy suitcases? Did she get phone calls at odd times? He doesn't know anything about it. Why should he, a boy of his age?
He's 13. Kids notice things, and he would. He's not stupid.
Well, he didn't.
He said... He says he didn't.
Why do you push him so?
Well, he's not a house guest. It's not a holiday. We've got a job to do.
You don't really think we're going to find his mother, do you?
We said we'd give it a try.
So we're giving it a try.
If you don't think there's any chance of finding his mother, why is he staying with us?
Oh, just leave it. You do go on.
Now, come on, answer the question. If there's no chance of
But
finding
what does it matter?
I find it suddenly beginning to matter.
Well, just let him stay. I like having him here. He's company for me.
I'm company for you.
Not always.
What are you talking about? You're not a neglected wife. I don't go off to the office every day and come back at 7 half sloshed with a briefcase full of papers. I'm around. We're together. Most of the things we do together. I'm company for you.
Look, leave it. Just leave it alone.
I don't understand this.
Look, leave it. Have a drink. Correct your proofs.
I don't correct my proofs. What's the point when I can't spell? You correct my proofs. You haven't looked at them all afternoon. Well, I've been tramping about York, being put down by pushers, trying to explain to the madame of a call girl
Well,
agency
it's all
what the...
useful research, isn't it?
The only useful research is about how things work.
Does it ever occur to you how bored I get with the interminable details of how things actually work?
But I don't think anybody else finds it boring. Aerodynamics is one of the most
Yes, I
fascinating...
cut most of that when I type up the notes. But you never read the work after it's typed. I was asked to make those cuts.
By?
He's your agent.
You just like having him here, Steve.
Yes.
You don't think that after a while it might pall?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm the child of this marriage. We both know that. I don't like intruders. I might get jealous.
Horrifying experience. Horrifying. I distinctly felt a presence.
A ghost?
A sensation, a sudden sickening sensation. The overwhelming realization that some presence had entered the bedroom. Something evil, Mrs. Wilde, not directly perceived, but hovering on the very edge of perception.
A ghost?
It took the clock.
The ghost took the clock.
A very beautiful glass clock. The mechanism bejeweled in every orifice, gold-plated, adjusted to 1,000th of a second, and encased in crystal. Made in Geneva and guaranteed till the year 2000, only 100 ever made. I treasured it, Mrs. Wilde.
A gift from some grateful...
A special offer from the colour magazine of the Sunday Telegraph.
I don't see why a ghost should want to steal a clock.
Oh, how?
Not much use for time in the spirit world.
Oh, they have to know when it's cockcrow.
It was a burglar.
Ah, well, yes.
But of such an evil presence, Mr. Wilde. I saw nothing, heard nothing, but suddenly my eyes were open, and I knew. I felt a blast of cold air. I lay there trembling, I don't know for how long, but when I switched on the light, I knew at once that the clock was missing from the bedside table. Those hands, Mr. Wilde, those hands must almost have touched my face.
It took nothing but the clock.
Nothing. It required, you see, the one treasured object.
A blast of cold air.
For a moment only. Then it was gone.
Have you phoned the police?
Mr. Wilde.
Well, it is the obvious thing. Oh, no. Perhaps in your case, not.
The police in my flat? My stock in trade, as I think you know.
Yeah, we do.
Well, it's all about the premises.
A camera, cans of films. They're not going to examine them.
Who knows what the police will examine once they've gained entry? No, no, no. Any man of business who asks the police onto his premises is definitely inviting embarrassment. Besides, I'd thought of expanding into magazines. There are one or two samples, a few photographic studies. Nothing outside the law, you understand. I never consciously step outside the law.
No, you just sort of hover on the edge like you're a ghost.
To be candid, Mrs. Wilde, nowadays it's difficult to know exactly where the edge lies. But the question I always ask myself when in doubt is, could this be described as art?
And what answer do you always give yourself, Mr. Bailey?
Well, if it's tasteful, then it's art. And I'm always tasteful. There is nothing in my stock in trade, all things considered, that should bring a blush to the cheek of a maiden aunt.
It's the effect on a maiden uncle the police are more concerned about.
To the pure, all things are pure. Unhappily, the police, as a class of men, are impure. Consequently, it's advisable never to allow them on the premises.
We're going out soon.
Oh, hello, dear boy.
Stephen is staying with us while we try to help him find his mother.
Indeed. Well, in the meantime, while you're looking, tell me, Stephen, what would you say to a career in the movies?
Wouldn't mind.
We'd mind.
Consider, Mrs. Wilde, he may be another Freddie Bartholomew. Merely to preserve your own sense of what is proper, you may be denying wealth and fame to the young lad.
We'll take that risk.
Wouldn't it be advisable to allow Stephen to answer for himself?
We answer for him.
Are you suggesting that you stand in loco parentis?
Well, that is exactly what we suggest. And until we find his mother or hand him over to some organization better capable of finding her than us, in loco parentis is where we stand.
You interest me strangely.
Consequently, we are able to tell you categorically he is not available for film work.
Clearly, the boy needs an agent. You need an agent, Stephen. Don't worry, I'll see myself out. I know the way.
Excuse me.
Oh, I say, what a charming young lady. You sure you've come to the right flat?
Mr. Wilde?
Yeah, I'm Mr. Wilde.
Bailey's the name. I live downstairs. If you're thinking of film work at all, I'm always interested in new faces. Well, delighted to meet you, my dear. Really, delighted.
Look, I'm sorry about that. I'm Rupert Wilde.
Is there a boy called Steve staying with you by any chance?
You better come in. Through there. It seems we don't stand in loco parentis any longer. Steve, it's your mother.
Hello, Miss Waters.
Thank you for buying him the new clothes. That hasn't happened before.
Perhaps you better sit down.
Thank you. We traced you through the shop.
We?
A colleague of mine noticed you down by the river yesterday. He remembered the names on the carrier bag. We went there and asked.
Colleague?
Social services.
Oh. Well, I think I'll sit down. I feel a bit strange. There's not much point in your standing about either.
Well, I think I'll walk about for a bit. I'm reasonably sure I know what's going on, but not entirely, and walking about may help.
Well, as long as it doesn't upset everybody else.
No, please do walk about if it makes you feel more comfortable.
Thank you.
Oh, you said that nobody's bought him new clothes before.
Usually I find him at the bus station or the railway station, drifting. Don't I, Steve? Sometimes the police pick him up.
He doesn't like the police.
No, he doesn't.
He calls them Old Bill.
Yes, well, that's his background. I'm bound to say I call the police Old Bill myself sometimes. Most of us in the social services have rather a mixed attitude towards the police. Well, what they like doing, you see, is solving problems. Quite rightly, it's their job. Only every problem that they solve means a new problem for us. One villain in the nick equals a wife and 2 kids for the social services to look after.
Are you sure you're not from the IRA?
No.
I used to be quite keen on solving problems myself.
We never regard any of ours as soluble. They just persist. That's the difference between us and the police.
So it's all lies. It was all lies, then?
I shouldn't think so. I don't quite understand about the IRA.
He said a man came and took his mother away. He said his father was in prison for possession. Now, we thought it might be possession of explosives, since nowadays possession of soft drugs isn't usually that serious.
Oh, it was drugs.
And then he said his surname was Nolan, and we wondered...
Oh, yes, I see. Well, that's very ingenious.
Thank you.
However, none of it was true.
It was all true. Everything Steve told you was true. His name, the man who came for his mother.
She was crying? She said she'd be back?
I'm sure she did.
And the postcard?
Yes.
His father in prison?
Yes. What he didn't tell you was that it all happened when he was 6. He lives in a sort of a home now. Every now and then he runs away. Quite often, really. It depends on what's been happening. He runs to York, still looking for his mother. Sometimes he's picked up before he gets here, but often he arrives. And then I have to come and get him back. You understand that I'm always afraid that one day I won't be able to find him. I'm always frightened of that.
Well, what kind of home? A foster home?
Not exactly.
Well, what then? Community home?
They used to be called approved schools.
And how much do you change when you change your name?
Oh, hardly anything. I'm his assigned social worker. He has had others. Been through a fair selection of people and institutions in the past 6 years. But I'm hoping that he and I will stick.
Well, I hope you will.
I've been trying to get him fostered.
Fostered? But what about his mother?
Oh, she's dead, I'm afraid. And the father didn't want to know after he came out of prison.
Dead?
Hepatitis. They don't often bother to sterilize the needle, and with more than one person using the syringe. Dirty habits, pity.
Oh, I'm sure you shouldn't talk like this in front of Steve.
Oh, he knows. We feel it's better to tell children the truth as far as we can. Steve won't accept it, yet. In time, we hope he will. I don't imagine it'll stop him running away, but at least he won't still be looking for his mother.
You, you said you've been trying to get him fostered.
It's not easy.
Oh, well, we've quite enjoyed having him here.
Oh, good.
He seems quite a nice kid, and we've been playing games, you know, fox and geese, that sort of thing.
He's a devil at snooker.
No, we haven't got as far as snooker.
Well, you've been very good to him.
Well, I wondered whether...
He wouldn't stay.
Of course he'd stay.
He never has, anywhere.
Well, perhaps a trial period?
He wouldn't stay.
At least to be in York, it'd be very simple to go down to the bus station from time to time.
Look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned fostering. He's a difficult child, you see. That's the way he's classified.
Difficult?
Well, nobody really knows what to do with difficult children. You can lock them up.
Yes.
But it's not the answer.
No.
There's a new kind of fostering, a new sort of foster parent. They're highly trained and very highly paid. They make a career out of it. I don't know what you do for a living.
I write thrillers.
I don't think you could combine it. You see, the new idea is small houses with no more than 6 difficult children and just these 2 highly trained, highly paid people. Believe me, I do know how you feel. I'm very fond of him myself, even though I'm only assigned to him.
Please, don't apologize.
And he's clearly fond of you. But it wouldn't work.
Why not?
There'd be a rush of burglaries, for one thing. That'd be the first thing. Ah, yes. Well, I think we'd better be going.
Steve, you could go and get your coat. And don't forget your carrier bags.
The best thing you could do for young Foxy if you really wanted to help...
Foxy?
Well, they call him Foxy in the home, for obvious reasons. Not that he ever rips off livestock. But the best thing you could do for him would be to visit him. Well, Declan and I are colleagues. Well, he's also the man I live with. Well, he's Irish, as a matter of fact, but hardly IRA. Anyway, we try to be substitute parents as far as we can, but it doesn't really work. Here's the address. I'm Janet Walters.
Thank you.
Ready?
Well, goodbye, Steve. See you.
Bye-bye, Steve. Off you go.
Oh. Got this for you. Present.
Thank you.
I'm waiting now. See you around then.
See ya.
Yeah, we'll come and visit you, Steve. Miss Walters, given us the address.
Bye, Miss Walters.
Bye, Miss Walters. Bye, Steve. Good luck. I suppose we know what it is.
Don't give me any witty chat. Just don't.
Sit down.